Today, I'm making a pineapple upside-down cake from a vintage 1970s cookbook. I suspect this particular recipe actually dates back a few decades earlier because it's very different from the kind of pineapple upside-down cake people are used to today. Believe it or not, I have never tasted pineapple upside-down cake, so I was excited to finally make one. I was expecting a dense, buttery cake, but what I ended up with was a much lighter cake with a texture similar to sponge cake, and that was a bit of a shock. After making it, I realized why. This recipe doesn't use any butter or shortening. Instead, it relies on eggs to create a light, tender cake. It wasn't what I expected, but I was pleasantly surprised. I think it turned out beautifully. So watch me as I make this delicious version of pineapple upside down cake. The recipe says that you will need a heavy skillet, so I'm using my cast iron skillet. And you're going to need 4 tablespoons of melted butter and 2/3 cup of brown sugar. And I'm going to dissolve the sugar in the melted butter and spread that around the pan evenly. Now you're going to place the pineapple rings and cherries in the skillet, just as you see me doing here. And as I'm going through my video footage and putting this video together for you guys, I realized that I forgot one important thing, and that is the crushed pecans. But like I mentioned earlier, I've never had this cake before, and I've never made it before. So I just completely forgot about the pecans. But you know what? It still tasted great. And I'm going to give the author a little bit of the blame here because while her recipes are wonderful, her instructions can sometimes be a little vague. The first step is to beat 4 egg yolks using an electric hand mixer until they are thick. Then you're going to add 1½ cups of sugar to the bowl and continue beating the mixture. You're also going to add 1/2 cup of boiling water, and then you're going to mix everything well. I'm going to sift my dry ingredients into a separate bowl. You will need 1½ cups of flour, 1/4 teaspoon salt, and 1 teaspoon baking powder. It is now time to add your flour mixture to your wet mixture. Keep mixing until well blended. You're going to take the 4 egg whites that you have set aside and beat those until stiff peaks form. Add 1 teaspoon of vanilla to your batter. And last but not least, you're going to fold in your egg whites. Don't use a mixer for this. You want to gently fold them in with a spoon or spatula so you don't deflate all the air you've incorporated. And now the time has come for me to pour the batter into my pan that I have prepped and is ready to go, minus the crushed pecans, of course. I'm a little embarrassed that I forgot those, but some people have nut allergies, so I guess you can say that this is a variation of pineapple upside down cake that they can also enjoy. Once that's done, you're going to bake this in a preheated oven at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for about an hour or until it's done. Please keep in mind that you may need to adjust either your oven temperature or baking time depending on your oven. It took my cake less than 1 hour to bake. And here's my cake straight out of the oven. I did test it for doneness in a few places, as you can see. And I'm going to let this stand for about 15 to 20 minutes before removing it from the pan. And now it's time to release the cake from the pan. I'm using a cool, wet towel for this purpose, but not one that's soaking wet. And there you go. Beautiful pineapple upside down cake. Thank you so much for joining me on this baking adventure. If you've made it all the way to the end, I truly appreciate you taking the time to watch the entire video. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions, so please leave me a comment below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I would really appreciate your support. My goal is to reach 3,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and every single subscriber helps me get a little closer.